Good evening, family, friends, staff, students, and the Hornell community. Welcome to the 143rd graduation ceremony for Hornell High School's class of 2024. My name is Isabella Hoyt, and I am the 2023 to 2024 Student Body Vice President. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. To all family members and the wonderful staff in the district, thank you for supporting us through our journey. Without you, we would not be here today, ready and prepared for what's next. Your constant support allows us to continue the things that we love to do. You have enabled us to discover our own potential and have given us the skills to not only survive as adults, but to be respectful and responsible citizens. To the class of 2024, thank you for all the amazing memories. We have been role models for the classes below us and have given them resources to continue to do great things. I am proud to be able to call you all my friends, and I'm excited to graduate with you all. Thank you, and I would now like to introduce one of our co-salutatorians, Cadence Goldnitz.
First, I would just like to thank my parents, all my peers, and all my teachers who have helped support me for this moment. I've struggled to come up with words to say today, and after grappling with a ton of ideas, I finally thought I had the perfect draft completed. However, as I said would happen, the closer I actually got to graduating, the closer I got to actually knowing what I wanted to speak about. See, my procrastination is actually for a good reason. As I was decorating my graduation cap, I remembered back to when I was a kid. I remembered that I used to want to be an artist. And well, I was using all the paints and all the brushes that I used to use. That's when I had an idea. I wanted my speech to incorporate some of my peers who are graduating with me. I have the take that people who are best equipped to give any kind of advice are those who have real-world experience. At first, I was gonna have Natalie speak in my place because one day, and I believe this, she will be the president and no one could tell me different. However, in recollecting my past, I had some ideas to talk to the graduates and even some teachers to see if they remembered what they wanted to be. This morning, some of you told me you wanted to be astronauts, cowboys, doctors, Superman, and a few of you also wanted to be artists. Now, most of us think that we lose these dreams of being superheroes because the system dissuades us from following our passions by hitting us straight in the face with reality. But I realize that this choice doesn't reflect any loss of magic or hope, but instead, in growing older and realizing the amount of work that must go into any career, our perception of what makes a superhero has changed instead. Whether you plan on going to college, into the workforce, or the military, you will begin working towards becoming a superhero like the adults that surround us. But always remember to listen to that little kid and respect that person that you once were. With them, old memories will always live on. And those who could not live to see who you are today, the younger self will forever live with them. So nurture your inner child once and now and then. Even if they make mistakes, you learn from them. Never curse them. Even as we grow older, to them, it will always be better with better. Thanksgiving will always be just around the corner. They'll always sneak into Miss Flint's chocolate drawer occasionally. They'll be struggling to do taxes in Mr. Smith's, just so he could say he taught them. Or they'll be playing butt up during lunch. And most importantly, they'll be in that cafeteria in the intermediate school, waiting for Mr. Foster to say, if you want a snack, now's the time to line up. So eventually, as we line up to exit this campus and this stage as official Hornell High School graduates, look back and remember that high schooler that you once were, that you will leave on this stage today. I would now like to introduce my co-salutatorian, Vivian Smith, up to the podium.
Hey, thanks, Cadence. As you just heard, I'm Vivi Smith, and I am your second co-salutatorian. So I went to an awards dinner at the end of May, and we sat with a guy who gave us many tips and much needed advice, and one of the things he told us was that women never start speeches with a joke. So I, of course, decided to start with a couple of them. First of all, why are mushrooms always invited to parties? Because they're fun guys. You all know how geese fly in V shapes, right? And one side of the V is always longer than the other side of the V. Do you know why that is? It's because there's more geese on that side. Do you know what kind of pants ghosts wear? Boo jeans. And if they can't find those, they wear paranormal pants. Okay, now that we've got all that out of the way, on to the real important part of the speech. I keep seeing these videos of great graduation speeches where they include the best quotes, leave the best messages, and overall just do a fantastic job. And for years, I've been collecting quotes and messages and things that I want to include in this speech to the point where the note on my phone is almost incomprehensible, and the Google Doc while I was writing this was in a very similar state. And as I was writing this, I was panicking, realizing I'll never live up to that, and there's no way I can include everything I've ever thought of since 7th grade when I realized that there was a chance I might get to stand up here and talk for you all. So I've decided to, as the great Tim O'Mara once said, abandon all hope and do my very best. So here we go. The little 7th grade Vivi that started writing down those quotes and ideas would never be able to imagine the person who I've become and how much I've grown in those 6 years of high school. And neither of us have any idea how we'll continue to grow and who we'll become, or even where we'll end up and what we'll be doing. In my notes, I started a list of people I wanted to thank, but there are just so many who have gotten me this far, it might take even longer than all of the rest of the ceremony to go through all of them. And I'm sure none of you really care all that much, so I'm not going to do all that. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thanks to my mom and my dad, Stan, and the rest of the family. Also thanks to my second families, the Passeros and Smiths, the Formans, the Briggses. Thanks to Nolan for putting up with me for this long, my Aunt Bella and Russell. Thanks to all my other friends, my current besties, and also the past ones that I've kind of lost touch with. To my teachers, to everyone on the turf with me and in the crowd, everyone watching on Peisch, and Mr. Peisch himself. Thank you to all of you, and I'm grateful for everything that all of you have ever done for me, ever. Now, to the people on the stage with me, congrats! We did it! We're finally here. All of that hard work to get to sit on your high school stage and listen to some girl ramble to you for hopefully not too much longer. I'll do my best. As Taylor Swift said, long story short, I, or rather we in this case, survived. I had the best days with you, from the tough and stressful days to the fun ones. When Mrs. Franklin's ghost came out during Halloween, and I had the great pleasure to go to 2 Franksgivings, maybe I'll come back again for a 3rd next year. When Mr. Vedder said that elephants lay eggs because, as he said, oh, I thought you said dinosaurs, and when he was twining with Davinoyer and they went viral on Snapchat. When me and Joris played Smash Bros during Tech Draw and distracted everyone else from their work, sorry about that. The pep band and marching band getting actual support from the student section because of our amazing zookeepers. Mr. Kelleher pulling out the sound remote at 8 o'clock in the morning and only hitting the cricket noise because we were all still half asleep. Countless concerts and music opportunities and golds with distinction, thanks to our incredible music teachers. The seniors destroying everyone else in the pep rally and deck the halls contests, and I swear we didn't even cheat to win. Senior Assassin, which lasted for a total week and a half before everyone abandoned it, and it took me about that long to fix the mess that was Russell's rules. We've all gotten so much closer than ever over this past year, and I'm so grateful that we've all had such a great senior year together. But if I leave you with anything, any kind of message, I want to be sure to leave you with this. This is only the beginning. School is all that we know right now, but I'm absolutely certain that every single one of us is going to go on to do great and amazing things, wherever life may take us. Whether that be straight to a job, or back to more school, or into the military, or whatever, I can't wait to see where we all end up. Life's a climb, but the view is great. This is the end of a chapter, but that just means another one is starting. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all again in a little bit for my speech for the yearbook. I would now like to welcome the HHS Graduation Choir performing my song, Remember My Song. Hello again. I am here again because I had the pleasure of being editor-in-chief of the Maple Leaf Yearbook this year for the 90th edition. I got to work with a fantastic staff of 11 of these graduates and a great advisor who all helped to turn the yearbook into an incredible picture of our senior year. Each year, the senior class votes to decide on a member of the faculty and staff at Hornell to dedicate their yearbook to. This year, we chose Mr. Brian Schramm. Mr. Schramm came to HHS just in time to teach all of us in 8th grade, and he made the best impression. We had him during our hybrid year, and he made our Zoom calls and eventually coming back to class a blast. He genuinely cares about all of us, about what we're doing, where we're going, who we'll be, and he always makes a point of saying hello to every single one of us anytime he sees us in the hallways or in public, and sometimes he comes into the senior lounge to hang out and see what we've got going on. He remembers the little things and has asked us who won the 2012 Olympics on the Wii the day before because he actually cares to know. He wears a new pair of silly socks every single day just to entertain his students. And he always tells the best stories. He's worked with the crazy people, personally knows some impressive celebrities, and has had some insane experiences. Mr. Schramm has lived what seems like thousands of different lives, but they all started in Greece, New York, where he grew up with his 2 parents, Edward and Deborah, and his 3 older siblings, Kristen, Andrew, and Amy. He graduated from Greece Athena High School in 2009, then SUNY Fredonia in 2013 with a bachelor's in history and a bachelor's in social studies education, then Brockport University in 2021 with a master's in education. He's a great uncle to 6 nieces and nephews, Ella, Eddie, Jonathan, William, Camille, and Savannah. Mr. Schramm met his wife Taylor in 2014, and they got married on July 25th, 2024, and adopted 2 cats, Melanie and Gomez, and a golden retriever, Louie, together. We would like to thank Mr. Schramm for everything he has done for us and the incredible impact he's made on all of us in the class of 2024. We will miss him greatly. And finally, as Mr. Schramm always says, be safe, be smart, and don't do anything stupid.
Seven years ago, the Hornell High School began a tradition of inviting an alumni speaker to our graduation. This year, we are honored to continue this tradition by welcoming Ryan Fleitz, proud graduate of the class of 2002, to give the commencement speech. While in high school, Ryan was an active participant in the athletic program, earning 7 varsity letters between basketball and soccer. Ryan was a single-season goal record holder for boys soccer for 20 years before the record was broken last year by one of this year's graduates, Jack Emo. Ryan then went on to graduate from Monroe Community College with an associate's degree in electrical engineering. Ryan and his brother founded the popular streetwear brand Pants Sag and Design, later called PSD, which he has been actively involved in since 2007. Since its inception, PSD has found its way into retail stores across the country and into the wardrobes of celebrities and professional athletes. In more recent years, Ryan has established himself as the artist known as Fleitz Whatever, and last year published his first book entitled Drib. Ryan currently resides in St. Petersburg, Florida, but comes home regularly to see family and friends. It is with great pleasure that I introduce tonight's speaker, Mr. Ryan Fleitz.
Good evening. I don't know how I got talked into this, but here I am. As I thought about this speech, I decided to go back to what I was feeling the night of my graduation 22 years ago. I was extremely excited because I was graduating, and it's the first major milestone in your life. On the other hand, I was extremely nervous. What was I going to do? I had no idea what I wanted to be. All I told myself is, no matter what, I'm going to be successful. School did not come easy for me. You know that infamous SAT test? Well, they say a good score is a 1210 or higher. The average score is 1,000. My score, an 890. Colleges weren't knocking at my door. So what did I do? I enrolled in an electrical engineering program at MCC. Why did I do that? Well, I was told engineers make good money, so why not? Did I get the degree? I did. How? I showed up every single day to class in every lab possible. Sometimes I would do the same lab twice in the day. If I did bad during the lab in the morning, I went at night and redid it. People way smarter than me were dropping out left and right, not me. I wasn't gonna quit. After I graduated, I went right to work, but it was extremely hard to find a job around here that worked for me. I ended up taking a job in Rochester as a cable tech, and about 2 months in, one beautiful December day, 6 degrees out, wind blowing every way possible, I'm up on a pole changing out a fitting on a cable and my hands are frozen. They won't work, so I decided to go to the truck and warm up. My trainer was in the truck at the time, and when I got in there, I knew I was meant, something in life there was more for me in life. I said to him, I don't think this job is for me. And he responded, well, what are you gonna do? I said, I've always had this dream and I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna start a clothing line. He laughed and looked at me the same way everyone looked at me when I told them that. You're crazy. I was crazy, but I didn't care. You see, creating things came easy for me. I was an artist and I loved to design apparel and make my own clothes. Fast forward 6 months later, my grandpa introduces me to his car club as his pants-sagging grandson. That night, while I'm in the basement of my dad's house, I write down pants sagging, I throw design with it, and PSD was born. Perfect timing, because shortly after, my dad tells me it's time for you to move out and figure your life out. In that moment, I knew PSD was going to be my life. I was all in with this brand. Some know about our quick local success here, and those were such great times for me early on, but I want to get to the part where my brother and I ended up going to Los Angeles in 2008 and decided to set up shop. We truly fed ourselves to the wolves to see what we were made of. It's really hard to summarize what our journey has looked like over the past 18 years, but those close to us witnessed all our struggles and hard work, the dedication it took to become the successful brand we are today. Our first major retailer was a store called Journeys. We managed to get in contact with the buyer, and we would send him product and call him and email him every day hoping for a response. We finally got a response that said, please stop contacting me. We don't like your brand and it will never be in our store. Once again, that would discourage most and or make people quit, not us. We said, okay, did a little more research and found out that Journeys had their own music festival called the Backyard Barbecue Tour. And we saw that the headlining band was a group called Mayday Parade. Through our networking, we were able to contact them and ask them if they would be ever willing to wear our product on stage during the tour. Luckily for us, they loved it. Within 3 stops of the Backyard Barbecue Tour, the same buyer that told us we would never be in their store reached out and said, there seems to be a demand for your product due to Mayday Parade wearing it, and we would like to offer you a test run. That opened up the door for the retail world, and we are currently selling our product in major retailers such as Foot Locker, Champs, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Target, to name a few. To the seniors, success, what does it mean to you? Success has many forms. You have to choose what's going to make you happy. I know it sounds selfish, but your journey in life is yours, no one else's. So if you're able to get yourself in a position to where you're truly happy with yourself and your career, you'll make others happy. Make a list of things you feel you want in life. For me, my number 1 was financial freedom. I did not want the burden of money struggles, so that was the top goal of mine. I encourage you to take control of your life. Chase the career you want, no matter how long it takes you to achieve it. If you don't know what that is, we are all good at something. You just have to figure out your something. Face all your fears you might have. Let's say you're afraid of a big city. Go to a big city. Visit them often, and eventually you'll feel comfortable with being there. I never thought I would end up spending 15 years of my life in Los Angeles, but that place is a home to me now. The best thing to do for yourself is someday be able to say, no matter what, I can accept the outcome of my life because I gave it my all. A lot of people settle, and that's okay, but most will have regrets and wish for the opportunity to do it all over again. Life doesn't slow down, but just remember, it's not a race. Don't compare your life to others. Be inspired by others, but don't compare. Hard work really can pay off if you're willing to battle through the tough times. I'm proof of it. PSD is proof of it. In 2007, I was Ryan Flights from Hornell, New York. It's 2024, and I'm still Ryan Flights from Hornell, New York, founder and owner of PSD, one of the most popular streetwear brands in the world. Seniors, I want to wish you the best of luck on your journey. Don't give up. And I want to leave you with this. In a black and white world, be a highlighter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for returning to Hornell High School this evening and for sharing your message with the class of 2024. Sitting before you is an incredibly talented group of young people. Over the past few months as we prepared for graduation, I cannot count how many times the teachers, counselors, administrators, and other staff commented on what a great group of young adults is sitting before you. This group is truly characterized by such kindness and compassion that is something our world often lacks. These traits, combined with an incredible work ethic and drive to succeed, leave me with no doubt that you all have a bright future ahead of you. The class of 2024 is truly leaving HHS a better place, and for that, you should all be so very proud. I would like to give you a little insight on how much these young men and women have already achieved. 96 graduates will earn diplomas. 49 have earned a Regents Diploma with advanced designation. 31 are honor graduates. 27 are members of the National Honor Society. 6 are members of the New York State Business and Marketing Honor Society. 10 are members of the BOCES National Technical Honor Society. And 8 have successfully completed 30 credits, or the equivalent of 1 full year of college credit, through the Corning Community College ACE program. Additionally, 6 members of the class of 2024 will be entering the Armed Services of the United States. Please stand as I call your name. Daniel Barnett, Marines. Tatum Buzzard, Navy. William Cady, Army. Joseph McCumsky, Marines. Mia Mikulajek, Air Force. Eric Ross, Marines. I would also ask that you please stand if you are a member of student government, a club officer, a captain of a sports team, or worked a job alongside with balancing your school responsibilities. Congratulations to all of you for going above and beyond. You truly are an exceptional group. We now come to the grant and scholarship presentations. Here to present the Hornell Alumni Association Awards are members President Kathy Potter and Vice Treasurer Angela Markle. The Hornell Alumni Association has been an incredible supporter of our graduates for many years. Please join me in thanking the Alumni Association, each of their donors, for the 2024 grants and scholarship contributions that total $162,400 this year. And Mrs. Marika Wolliver is joining them. I apologize. As I call each group of students forward, please hold your applause until all awards have been announced to that group. Would Riley Heyer, Nora Foreman, Laura Flights, Cadence Golnitz, and Gennaro Pico please come forward? Nora Foreman is the recipient of the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in Memory of Lillian Guthrie Hanks, class of 1949, in the amount of $3,000. Nora also receives the Zachary D. Smith Class of 2008 Memorial Grant given by family, friends, and classmates in the amount of $500, and the Thomas M. Foreman Memorial Grant in the amount of $500. A Hornell Alumni Association Grant in Memory of Francis Norton in the amount of $3,500 goes to Laura Flights. Laura also receives the Fagnan Family Class of 1959 Grant in the amount of $1,000. Cadence Golnitz and Gennaro Pico are both recipients of the David Gray Memorial Grant given by Penny Sherburne Gray, class of 1982, in the amount of $1,000. Cadence also receives the Riley Monroe Bentley Memorial Grant given by the family in the amount of $600. The Penny Mellenbacher Bassage Class of 1977 Memorial Grant given by family and friends in the amount of $500, and the Penny Mellenbacher Bassage Class of 1977 Memorial Grant in the amount of $500. Gennaro also receives the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of Francis Fran Smith, Class of 1952, in the amount of $3,500, and the Robert C. Young Class of 1939 Scholarship Grant given by the family in the amount of $1,000. Okay. Congratulations. You guys can have a seat. Would Quentin Bale, Peyton Van Castle, Dimitri Matamopoulos, Kylie Bentley, and Nola McGregor please come forward? The Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of Robert Bob Roselle, Class of 1956, is awarded in the amount of $5,000. This award goes to Quentin Bale. Quentin is also the recipient of the Hornell Merchants Grant in the amount of $1,800 and the Class of 2022 Grant in the amount of $500. Peyton Van Castle is the recipient of the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of John N. Tobin in the amount of $4,500. Peyton also receives the Class of 1964 Grant in the amount of $1,200. Dimitri Matamopoulos is the recipient of the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of James Griffin, Class of 1956, in the amount of $3,500. To Kylie Bentley goes the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of Paul K. Crow, Class of 1968, in the amount of $3,500. Kylie also receives the Leslie Gray Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000. The Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of Kevin Gaffney, Class of 1977, and the amount of $3,500 goes to Nolan McGregor. Congratulations. You guys can have a seat. Would Vivian Smith, Emily Phillips, Gabriella Passero, Kayla Briggs, and McKenna Kiley please come forward? Vivian Smith is the recipient of the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of James J. Pullman, Class of 1919, and Linda Pullman, Class of 1965, in the amount of $3,000. Emily Phillips is the recipient of the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of Mary K. Flansburgh, Class of 1961, and the amount of $3,500. A $2,000 Hornell Alumni Association Special Donors Grant in memory of Warren Wally Amplet, Class of 1962, goes to Kayla Briggs. Kayla also receives the Andrea Spook Testani Gordon, Class of 1986 Memorial Grant for $1,000. Kayla also receives the Palmisano Class of 1990 Memorial Spirit Grant Award given by his parents, Michael, Class of 1962, Suzanne, Class of 1962, in the amount of $500, and the Class of 1941 Grant in memory of Dean Harrington for music in the amount of $500. Gabriella Passero and McKenna Kiley are both the recipients of the William, Class of 1937, and Grace Coogan Daly, Class of 1941 Memorial Grant in the amount of $500. Gabriella also receives the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of Lisa Fucci Smith, Class of 1990, in the amount of $2,000, and the Zachary D. Smith, Class of 2008 Athletic Award. McKenna also receives the Hornell Alumni Association Grant in memory of Marty Christensen, Class of 1953, in the amount of $1,000, and a Hornell Association Grant in the amount of $500. Congratulations. Would Jaden O'Hara, Riley Tierney, Hunter Mosher, Logan McGregor, and Savannah Dennis please come forward? Jaden is the recipient of the Hornell Alumni Association grant in memory of L. Jean Dixon Shepard, class of 1959, in the amount of $1,000. The class of 1971 grant in the amount of $1,000, and the Esther McEnany Memorial Grant given by the family in the amount of $500. To Riley Tierney go the Trooper Lawrence P. Gleason, class of 1991 Memorial Grant in the amount of $6,000. The Donald Cox, class of 1962 Memorial Grant given by his family in the amount of $1,500. And the Marion L. Brewer Jr. class of 1955 Memorial Grant in the amount of $500. The W.N. Mildred Clark Pryor Memorial Grant in the amount of $2,000 goes to Logan McGregor. Logan also receives the Lance Lefferts Memorial Grant in the amount of $500 and the Gordon Schiller Memorial Grant given by his family in the amount of $1,000. Hunter Mosher and Savannah Dennis are both the recipients of the Henry Gunther class of 1928 grant in the amount of $1,500, as well as the class of 1974 grant celebrating 50 years in the amount of $2,000. Hunter also receives the Zachary D. Smith class of 2008 grant in the amount of $4,000 and the Kurt Bertram class of 1999 Memorial Grant in the amount of $500. Savannah also receives the Dovina Testani class of 1974 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000. Congratulations. Would Kevin Reagan, Lillian Carpenter, Spencer Hopper, Ariana Simpson, and Amaya Hoffman please come forward? Kevin is the recipient of the Teresa M. Murray class of 1979 Memorial Grant given by her sibling Joseph, class of 1968, Patricia, class of 1970, Maureen, class of 1972, Michael, class of 1974, and William, class of 1982, in the amount of $2,000. The Dr. Richard B. Johnson, class of 1940, Memorial Grant in the amount of $500, and the Joseph Kevin Jacobs, class of 1984, Memorial Grant in the amount of $250. To Lillian Carpenter go the following: the John B. Preet, class of 1947, Memorial Grant in the amount of $2,000, and the HHS Alumni Grant and Aid in the amount of $500. Spencer Hopper is the recipient of the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $2,000. To Ariana Simpson go the John V. Preet class of 1947 Memorial Grant given by the family in the amount of $1,500, and the class of 1973 grant in the amount of $400. The Stephen G. Terry class of 1977 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,500 goes to Amaya Hoffman. Amaya also receives the Richard Dick K. Young class of 1945 Memorial Grant in the amount of $500, the class of 1965 grant in the amount of $500, and the HHS Alumni Grant and Aid in the amount of $500. Congratulations. Would Lillian Miles, Isabel Miles, Nevaeh Clark, and Davin Oyer please come forward? Lillian Miles and Isabel Miles are both recipients of the Dorothy Dottie Daniels Ryan class of 1969 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,500 and the class of 1974 grant celebrating 50 years in the amount of $1,000. Isabella also receives the Mary Frances McKevitt Clancy class of 1948 Memorial Grant given by her children in the amount of $300. Lillian also receives the Joseph Gans class of 1973 Memorial Grant in the amount of $300. Nevaeh Clark and Ileana Ninos both received the Scholl Family Grant in the amount of $1,500. Nevaeh also receives the 2024 Hornell Association Grant in the amount of $500 and the Martha Ann Walton Reardon Class of 1957 Memorial Grant in the amount of $350. Davin Oyer is the recipient of the Matthew, Class of 42, and Jean Griffin Degatano, Class of 1942, and Cynthia Degatano, Class of 1966, Memorial Grant given by Dennis, Class of 67, Linda Degatano O'Brien, Class of 67, and Bridget O'Brien, Class of 96, in the amount of $1,500. Davin also receives the Adam Class of 1947 and Martha Marty Schultz Davidson Class of 1947 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000 and the Ernst A. Wyand Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000. Congratulations. Would Jack Emo, Evan Clare, Kathy Lee, Russell Gage, and Jaden Robinson please come forward? Jack, Evan, Kathy, and Russell are all the recipients of the Class of 1956 grant celebrating 68 years in memory of the 111 deceased classmates in the amount of $1,000 each. To Jack also goes the David A. Dave Markle Class of 1966 Memorial Grant given by family and friends in the amount of $1,000. The Henry Hank Gilio Memorial Grant by Clarence and Debbie of Bradley Supply in the amount of $500, and the Lance Leffert Memorial Grant in the amount of $500. Evan also receives the William Scholl Class of 1969 Specialty Trades Grant in the amount of $1,000 and the Rudolph and Grace Schneider Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000. To Kathy also goes the Barbara Wyand Miles Class of 1943 Art Scholarship Memorial Grant given by family and friends. Also the Francis Dye Class of 1936 and Yolanda P. Hogan Memorial Grant given by the children and grandchildren in the amount of $1,000. Kathy also receives the Class of 1965 grant in the amount of $500. Russell receives the Kathy Ficina Terrell Salzman Class of 1966 Memorial Grant given by Dr. and Mrs. Salvatore Ficina in the amount of $1,000. And the James Walton Class of 1954 Memorial Grant in the amount of $350. Jaden is the recipient of the Karen Marie Scholl Steiner Class of 1969 Memorial Grant given by her siblings, Cindy, Class of 1976, Susan, Class of 75, and Stephen, Class of 87, in the amount of $1,500. Jaden also receives the Class of 1984 grant celebrating 40 years in the amount of $500 and the Hornell Association grant in the amount of $500. Congratulations. Would Isabella Hoyt, Stella Argentary, Grace Allen, Braden Campbell, and Ethan Hall please come forward? Ethan and Stella are both the recipients of the Class of 1979 grant celebrating 45 years in the amount of $1,000. Ethan also is the recipient of the Robert C. Hillman Class of 1925 Memorial Grant, past president of the HHS Alumni Association, given by Rosemary Hillman Walton Class of 1955 in the amount of $1,000. Stella also receives the Linda L. Smith Gleason Class of 66 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000. The Catherine Kathy Bozzard Class of 71 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000 goes to Grace Allen. Grace also receives the Maple City Development Corporation grant in the amount of $500. To Isabella Hoyt goes the John L. Miles Alfred University Science Scholarship Memorial Grant given by family and friends in the amount of $1,000, and the John Spider Andrews Class of 48 Pals for Life Memorial Grant in the amount of $300. Braden Campbell is the recipient of the Jerry D. Getman Class of 65 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000 and the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $500. Congratulations. Would Jacob Phillips, Merrick Kaczynski, Aiden Jones, Andrew Davis, and Megan Avingham please come forward? Jacob, Merrick, Aiden, Andrew, and Megan are all recipients of the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $1,000 each. Aiden also receives the Floyd, class of 1937, and Vincana Degatano Dodd, class of 1943 Memorial Grant given by daughters Kathleen Dodd Silberman, class of 67, Christine Dodd Pettinelli, class of 1970, and Mary Kay Dodd George, class of 1976, in the amount of $750. Merrick Kaczynski also receives the Maple City Lions Grant in the amount of $250. Andrew Davis also receives the William Bill G. Connors Class of 59 Memorial Grant given by his children in the amount of $500, the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $500, and a Hornell Association Grant in the amount of $500. To Megan Evingham also goes the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $500, and the Eggman Family Grant in the amount of $300. Congratulations. Would Liam Sirianni, Riley Murray, Braden Vaughn, Christian Scott, and Natalie Rose please come forward? The Thomas Moretti Class of 64 Memorial Grant given by his wife Donna and his siblings, Margaret, Class of 65, James, Class of 68, Michael, Class of 70, Donald, Class of 74, and Gina, Class of 82, and the amount of $1,000 goes to Liam Sirianni. Liam also receives the Class of 1989 grant celebrating 35 years in the amount of $500. Braden and Christian are both recipients of the Class of 1974 grant celebrating 50 years in the amount of $1,000. Christian also receives the Class of 2003 grant in the amount of $500. Riley Murray and Braden Vaughn are both recipients of the Poulos and Roselle Scholarship Grant in the amount of $500. Riley will also receive the Joseph M. Kuhn Class of 1959 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000. Natalie Rose is the recipient of the Esther McEnany Memorial Grant given by her family in the amount of $500 and the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $500. Congratulations. Would Ava Rakers, Mackenzie Alley, Xavier Patrick, Marion Tomlin, Logan Snyder, and Mia Mikulajek please come forward? Mia Mikulajek is the recipient of the Hornell Association Grant in the amount of $500. To Ava Rakers goes the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $500 and the Natalie Ann Wyand Class of 1950 Memorial Grant given by family and friends in the amount of $1,000. Mackenzie Alley is the recipient of the Corinne A. Pryor Hollenbeck Class of 43 Memorial Grant in the amount of $1,000. To Xavier Patrick go the following: Bessie Ellis Kelleher Class of 43 Memorial Grant in the amount of $500. The Warren Wally Amplet Class of 1962 Memorial Grant in the amount of $750. And the Sylvester and Marceline Brewer Suriani Class of 46 Memorial Grant given by Stanley H. Class of 65 and Joanne Suriani Cohn Class of 66 in the amount of $1,000. Logan Snyder is the recipient of the HHS Alumni Association Grant and Aid in the amount of $500. And the William B. Young Class of 1941 Memorial Grant in the amount of $500 goes to Marion Tomlin. Congratulations. Kathy, Angela, Marika, the entire Alumni Association, and all of the generous donors, thank you. Our community is beyond lucky to have you supporting our graduates year after year. Would Mrs. Wachtel and Mrs. Kramer please assist with passing out our next round of local scholarships? On the other side of the stage. Okay. Nottingham Trust, a division of Community Bank, continues to strongly support our graduating seniors, awarding 5 scholarships this evening, totaling $42,000. Tonight, one senior will receive the Elizabeth Rose Bish Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $10,000. Will Cadence Goldmans please come forward to accept this award? You can stay right there, Cadence. Would Nora Foreman, Emily Phillips, please join Cadence? And Vivi Smith. Thank you. 1, 2. And Stella Argentary. The 4 students standing before you are all recipients of the Gunther Scholarship from Community Bank in the amount of $8,000 each. In addition, Nora and Stella will both be receiving the Hornell American Legion Post 440 Scholarship in the amount of $500. Nora also receives the New York State Education Department Academic Excellence Award in the amount of $1,500. Cadence and Vivian are also recipients of the State Education Department Academic Excellence Award in the amount of $500 each. Cadence also receives the Maple City Savings Bank Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. And Vivian also receives the Kiwanis Club Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. Congratulations to all of you. Will the following students please come forward? Xavier Patrick, Christian Scott, Andrew Davis, Aiden Jones, Marion Tomlin, and Davin Oyer. Xavier and Christian are both the recipients of the Jack Lisi Youth Award in the amount of $2,500 each. The 1963 Revocable Trust Scholarship in the amount of $5,000 each goes to 4 recipients this year. This year's awards go to Andrew Davis, Aiden Jones, Christian Scott, and Marion Tomlin. Andrew also receives the Women of the Moose Chapter 620 and the Loyal Order of the Moose Lodge 210 Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. And Davin Oyer is the recipient of the Business Student Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. Congratulations. Would Jack Emo, Jacob Phillips, Riley Tierney, Lucy Grillo, Gennaro Pico, and Gabriella Pissarro please come forward? Jack Emo is the recipient of the 2024 James J. Dagan Jr. Award of Excellence of Character from the Hornell Athletic Booster Club in the amount of $1,000. To Jacob Phillips goes the 2024 Stephen G. Terry Track and Field Award and Scholarship in the amount of $500. Riley is receiving the Twin Hickory Junior Golf Scholarship in memory of Gerard Buzz Connors. Lucy Grillo and Gennaro Pico are both recipients of the G. Carducci Lodge Scholarship in the amount of $350. And to Gabriela Pissarro goes the Kiwanis Club Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. Congratulations. Would Kayla Briggs, McKenna Kiley, Quentin Bale, Tyler Rivera, Grace Allen, and Jaden Robinson please come forward? To Kayla Briggs goes the Hornell Area Wind Ensemble Robert Bob Langford Class of 1956 Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $500. McKenna Kiley receives the Hornell Educators Association Scholarship Fund in the amount of $400. To Quentin Bale goes the Hornell Educator Association Past Educator Scholarship in the amount of $100, and the State Education Department Academic Excellence Award in the amount of $500. Tyler Rivera is the recipient of the HHS Class of 1989 We've Left Our Mark Scholarship in the amount of $500. And Grace Allen and Jaden Robinson are both recipients of the Women of the Moose Chapter 620 and the Loyal Order of the Moose Lodge 210 in the amount of $1,000. Congratulations. Our sincere thank you to Nottingham Trusted Division of Community Bank and to all of the community organizations for their scholarship support. Local scholarships this year reached a total of $81,950. Please give a round of applause to our local scholarship donors. That concludes the scholarship portion of our evening. And I am pleased to now introduce Nora Foreman to deliver this year's valedictorian address.
Good evening, everyone. As I guess you know, my name is Nora Foreman, and I am the Hornell Class of 2024 Valedictorian. Standing here in front of you all today is very surreal, and I'm still not entirely sure I believe it's happening. A few months ago, I was speaking with our principal, Mrs. Allison, about the general idea and guidelines regarding this speech, and I was incredibly worried that I was going to be boring. To my relief, Mrs. Allison says I can be boring, I just can't be boring for 10 minutes. So I'll try to keep it under wraps. I'd like to begin my remarks by congratulating the friends and family who are here to celebrate us, our teachers and staff for their relentless effort and amount of hard work they have devoted to ensuring that we would all walk across this stage today, and of course my fellow graduates who are finally seeing their years of dedication come to fruition. Each and every one of you should be filled with immense and impenetrable pride. I have had the privilege to spend my childhood, from beginning to end, within the halls of the Hornell City School District, and surrounded by your graduating class of 2024. Many of you I've known from the beginning of our journeys when we stepped through the doors of North Hornell Elementary, while others I feel I have only just met. But all of you have made an impact in my life and have made me into the person I am today. I am forever grateful that you have all been a part of my story, and even more so that I was able to be a part of yours. It was important to me that I use this opportunity to speak to you, to make it worthwhile, and to leave you with something to hold on to. So here I go. As our guest speaker from HHS Wellness Day, Jamar Root, brought to my attention, one of the questions that a child most frequently hears is, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm not sure who decided to ask an adolescent that question, but it has become a common practice, and children often feel the pressure of having to pick a career path. I know I did. When I was 3 years old, I dreamt of becoming a hairstylist. So of course I had to start practicing. I was already 3, I didn't have time to waste. Well, my dad was at work and my mother was doing everything she could to tidy our home before the tornado of girls passed through again, I snuck away to start my long career journey. My first victim was Barbie. She received a wonderful, uneven, and choppy bob. Some of my best work, if I do say so myself. Barbie's friends were next, followed in line by every single stuffed animal I could possibly find. But these clients just didn't satisfy my need to cut. I needed the real deal. Luckily for me, I had my baby sister who looked like she could use a trim. Perfect. Oh, but did I mention Ella just had major head surgery and her hair just grew back? Sorry, Mom. And of course, I needed a fresh cut too. All I can say is the day ended in scissors hidden in my big sister's dresser. I can plant the evidence. Lots of tears, a child who could not cut in a straight line at kindergarten screening because the scissors were confiscated, and a guilt-tripped mother whose child just told her she is ruining her dreams. Sorry, Mom. Again. As I continued to learn and grow in such a nurturing community, I changed my mind time and time again on what I wanted to be. I went through all the classics and then some. A chef, a dancer, an artist, an actor, a doctor, etc. It was in 5th grade that I went into the kitchen as my mom was cooking dinner and I said, Mom, I'm going to be valedictorian. And also, I'm going to law school. Apparently I was very self-aware in my younger years because hey, here we are. But only now, after I gained years of experiences, made so many friends from every walk of life, engaged myself in countless activities in different communities, and learned a boatload of life's lessons, that I can say the important question we should be asking kids, and more importantly ourselves, is not what you want to be, but rather who you want to be. I have, unfortunately, spent the majority of my life striving for perfection. You may be thinking, Nora, what's so wrong with that? And I'm glad you ask. The problem is, perfection does not exist. It is merely a concept that our society has dubbed as a ridiculous goal for individuals. The silliest thing about this concept is that it's different for every single person sitting here today. I myself have had varying definitions for perfection throughout my life. Perfect could be blonde, skinny, and beautiful. Perfect could be captain of the football team or president of student council. Perfect could be the most popular kid in the grade, or perfect could be the girl with the highest marks in the class. But it's not. While many of these things are achievements that you should be very proud of, they are certainly not defining of your worth. I promise you that your value will not falter if you lose the class election, or if you weren't crowned homecoming queen, or if your competitor took home the trophy, or you didn't get 100 on that English paper. It just isn't. The truth is, none of these things will happen 5, 10, 15 years down the road. I, admittedly, wish I listened to my mother when she told me this so that maybe I wouldn't have torn myself apart for years because I thought I wasn't good enough if I wasn't standing here speaking to you all today. But that's not how life works. You must do and experience these things for yourself in order to learn these kinds of lessons. The aspects of ourselves that we should be far more focused on rather than the physical or titular are the aspects that build our character and make us who we are on the inside. As UCLA collegiate basketball coach John Wooden once said, be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. It is far more important than anything else that you strive to be honest, caring, diligent, and accountable, and that you show perseverance, kindness, passion, and integrity through everything which you do. Now, a graduation speech would not be a graduation speech if I didn't include some well-deserved thank yous and acknowledgements. Thank you to my mom for being my rock and my #1 fan. It is through your support and love that I am standing here today. Thank you to my dad for being my person and pushing me to always do my best. Thank you to my sisters and my other family members for being my cheerleaders and always ensuring that I never stood alone. To Vivi, thank you for being my best friend I could possibly ask for and understanding me in a way that no one else can. And of course, thank you to all my other friends and all of my classmates for giving me memories to last a lifetime. And last, but certainly not least, I would like to acknowledge my teachers. The teachers who fill the halls of Hornell are far from just educators. These men and women push us to strive for greatness. They're the ones who provide love and support for those who may be lacking it. They're the ones who devote countless extra hours so that kids can pass the class and hopefully make it here one day. They're the ones who come to sport games after school and cheer on the athletes that didn't have anyone rooting for them. They're the ones who put smiles on our faces when doing so seems impossible. They're the ones who teach us the importance of failure and hardships. They're the ones who look for strength and beauty in every individual. And they are the ones who make us feel seen and accepted for who we are. So on behalf of the class of 2024, thank you, teachers, for everything. It has been an incredible honor for me to speak to you tonight. This will definitely be added to those lifelong memories. To conclude my speech, I would like to wish all my classmates the best of luck and success in all their future endeavors. All of you have so much greatness within you and can achieve anything you put your mind to. But always remember that you are important and valuable no matter what. Congratulations, class of 2024. We did it. At this time, I would like to introduce the Superintendent of the Hornell City School District, Mr. Jeremy Pilati.
Good evening. The students seating before us have met the requirements for high school graduation as set forth by the New York State Board of Regents, as well as by the Hornell City School District Board of Education, and are entitled to the benefits thereof to receive their academic diplomas. It is my honor to present to you the Hornell High School graduating class of 2024. Will Mr. Christopher Clark, Board President, Mr. Joseph Liberto, Vice President, and board members Mrs. Carrie Davis, Mrs. Megan Cork, Mr. Brian May, and Dr. Uzmer Mir please join me in the presentation of diplomas.
Nora Grace Foreman. Cadence Summer Golnitz. Vivian Noel Smith. Quentin James Bale. Kylie Ray Bentley. Kayla Jean Briggs. Kayla Jean Briggs. Tatum Marie Buzzard. William Cady. Gabriel Joseph Combs II. Laura Rose Flights. Russell Matthew Gage. Amaya Jade Hoffman. Spencer Michael Hopper. Okay, why don't you give me a few? I can't see.
Just pause for a second.
Yeah. Okay, I can't see. I can't see. ready? Are you ready? Riley Nicholas Heyer. Dimitri V. Matamopoulos. Logan Walker McGregor. Nolan Parker McGregor. Mia Faith Mikolajak. Isabel Patience Miles. Lillian Rain Miles. Hunter A. Mosher. Jaden Marie O'Hara. Davin Charles Boyer. Gabriella Marie Passero. Emily Lynn Phillips. Gennaro James Pico. Kevin Christopher Reagan. Logan Matthew Snyder.
They lost it, Logan. Horrible.
Natalie Snyder. Peyton Edward Van Cassel. Antonio D. Alcock. Grace Olivia Allen. Mackenzie Renee Alley. Tristan Michael Amplet. Stella Rose Argentary. Daniel Christopher Barnett. Andrew Edward Bennett. Larissa Becerra. Giovanna Christine Camacho. Braden J. Campbell. Liliana May Carpenter. Kurt Carrier. Anthony Carrington, Jr. Elijah Matthew Chase. Evan Robert Clare. Nevea Renee Clark.
Get it, girl.
Andrew Gary Davis.
Noah Dennis. Savannah Rose Dennis. Jack Daniel Emo. Joshua Enns. Sinai Janaya Evans. Megan Alicia Evingham. Phoebe Gillespie. Lucia Elaine Grillo. Ethan Charles Hall. Evan Carter Hall. Rihanna Herbert. Gage Allen Hill. Isabella Catherine Hoyt. Aiden M. Jones. Merrick Kaczynski. McKenna Elise Kiley. John Royce Kilmer. Colin Xavier Lance. Kathy Lee. Joseph Charles McCumsky. Caden Ray McGregor. Evan Mix.
We love you, Phoebe.
Riley Alyssa Murray. Alexander James Odell. Abby Jane O'Donohue. Charlie Oyer. Xavier Jordan Patrick. Jacob Malachi Phillips. Stephen S. Raish. Ava Jade Rakers. Tyler Elizabeth Rivera. Jaden Renee Robinson. Natalie Kathleen Rose. Eric Nicholas Ross. Christian Jamal Scott. Lillian Sexton. Ariana Marie Simpson. Liam D. Siriani. Hayden Patrick Smith. Angelina Mickey Snyder. Darren Snyder. Riley James Tierney. Marion Tomlin. Braden Christian Vaughn. Trista Inez Walton. And Catherine West. Would you please now stand for the singing of the Hornell High School alma mater? Words can be found on the back of your program. You're right back up here. You're right back up here. After this,
Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the Hornell High School graduated class of 2024. Before our final speaker comes to the podium, I would like to invite you all to join us in the cafeteria after the ceremony has concluded to enjoy light refreshments and celebrate our graduates. Now, I would like to welcome Russell Gage, President of the class of 2024, to the podium with words of farewell.
Hello. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Russell Gage. I'm the class of 2024's president. I know you're antsy to get out of here, so I made sure to keep this kind of quick. Although if you know me, I love to yap, so it was definitely a challenge. It's been an honor to fill this position, and I hope you all enjoyed this year. I would like to one more time congratulate everybody seated here in front of me for making it this far. I hope you were able to create memories, make friends, and learn lessons. From the crowded hallways, which always had an indiscernible smell, to the always oddly too hot or too cold classrooms. No matter who you were, what group you fell into, or what lunch table you sat at, we have all been together in this school through every sports game, every dance, every bathroom that was closed, and every grilled cheese day. I've had the privilege of getting to know all of you, and through everything I've seen and every interaction I've had, without a doubt in my mind, all of you have the potential to curate a life in which you feel successful. Seated here today are future doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, parents, and leaders. And no matter where you end up, I hope you find happiness. Don't stop pursuing it, because the minute you do is a minute wasted. Next, I would like to recognize my fellow officers and advisors, my secretary and my teammate, Hunter Mosier. Hunter, like you tackled me on that kick return, you will tackle life with the same ferocity. But seriously, Mrs. Flint, couldn't you have let him off for one 10th period? Our treasurer, the glue that held us together, Kid and Skolnitz. Although sometimes we butt heads, I appreciate your hard work and dedication, and have no doubt you will go on to do amazing things with your life. Lastly, our vice president, although I should say co-president at this point, Vivi Smith. Vivi was always willing to do what needed to get done, and did everything without complaint, setting a true example for all, a true role model. I want to thank Mrs. Naska and Mrs. Mendel for guiding us and allowing the school year to run as smoothly as it did. Both of them are some of the kindest I have ever met. Mrs. Naska always had her door open for me and the rest of her students and cares about all of them. I would like to thank you for putting up with my inability to focus on anything, for all teachers. I didn't have the privilege to know Mrs. Mendel as well as I knew Mrs. Naska. However, from what I have seen, she's the sweetest person ever and will treat any student as if they were her own child. Before we go, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out today, and one more time congratulate everybody for making it here. And now, I will attempt to leave you with a few words of wisdom, although I'm 17, so take this with a grain of salt. You all now have one thing in common, a piece of paper and an open window. The view is a future with infinite possibilities, and it's up to you to choose which one you venture. Pursue the one that will make you the happiest, and chase every dream you can, because despite Mr. O'Mara, no, we don't have infinite time. However, like I said, we have infinite possibilities and infinite possible ways to fill it. Don't waste time thinking about the future. Don't do what everybody wants you to do, unless it's your mom, because, you know. Do it for you. Do everything with your happiness in mind. Take a shot at any opportunity and spread kindness at any turn. Even a fist bump or a have a good day will suffice. Because you only get one shot at life, and it's one you don't want to miss. So have a great future and cherish this past. Congratulations.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Again, join us in the cafeteria afterwards, and let's give a big round of applause to our class as they exit the auditorium.